Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lorcana Lounge. We are here with the Amethyst set review. We are creeping closer to Friday, and new set is coming. So we're going to get this one underway, and hopefully we can pump out the other ones fairly quickly. So number 35, we got Antonio Madrigal, Animal Expert. He costs 3, he's inkable. He has 3 strength, 4 willpower. He quests for 1, he's uncommon. He's a vanilla card. Kind of strong. Not bad at all for a 3.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, not too much to say. I mean, it is, sometimes you just need some bigger bodies out there. So yeah, not bad.
36.
Bill character. 36, Belle, Accomplished Mystic. She is a 5-cost inkable. She's got 4 strength and 4 willpower. She quests for 2, has a shift cost of 3 ink, and says when you play this character, move up to 3 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character, and she's super rare. I'm gonna say all around pretty good. 5 cost 4/4. That quest for 2. All right. It's not great, but being able to either heal one of your characters for up to 3 damage, or be able to consolidate some damage on your opposing characters and hopefully eliminate somebody for, effectively for just playing the card. That's pretty good. And then you still end up with a 4/4. I think 4 strength is a really, after the last set and how many times we got beaten up by Madame Medusa and the world's greatest criminal mastermind, having 5 or more or 3 or less is not where you want to be at the moment. So having a 4 strength is a nice place to be.
That's right where you want to be.
Yep.
This would be a good in a Ruby Amethyst deck with, was it Lady Tremaine? The one that comes in damage with 3?
Yeah.
That would be a good combo. Because I think she comes in for 2. So at 5 ink, you could lay both these down at once if you can shift.
Yeah, if you can shift the Belle in.
Cool. Yeah, I like this card a lot. The fact that it's inkable is pretty sick, honestly.
Yeah, and I think shift cost of 3 feels really good. It's playing a 5 cost doesn't feel that bad if you have to play her for 5. Some of the cards, if it's like a 7 cost, it's like the Cinderella Stout Hearted at 7 cost, it feels really expensive to have to just play her straight from hand. But if you can shift her in, it feels really, really good. Whereas this, playing at 5 is okay, and then shifting it in for 3 just feels really good. So, I like this. I think this will get some good use.
Yeah, agreed. Number 37. Forgot to take that one out. Belle, Untrained Mystic. This is the smaller card, which is interesting. She costs 3. She's still inkable. She hits for 3. She has 3 willpower. Here now, don't do that. When you play this character, move up to 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. She quests for 1 and she's common. So, smaller effect, smaller Belle. 3/3, that's still decently big for...
Yeah, it's not bad. What is I know there's a couple cards anymore that allow you to do something to a specifically to a damaged opposing character. Is it Ring the Dinner Bell or Dinner Bell? I think that does.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Yeah, something like that. Does something which this can obviously be really good for that. I'm trying to do the math in my head so it's going to cost 2 less for 1 less strength and willpower and 1 less questing, and heals for 2 less. You can see how much value that super rare adds. For just 1 more or 2 more ink, I feel like you get a lot more value. But yeah, I think this can still has room for it to be played, and I think it's decent. This is definitely not going to be like a staple or that you're going to see everywhere, but no, I think it's pretty good.
Actually, if you have a couple hurt characters out on the board and you drop her and then you wait for your next turn to drop the other bell, I mean, that's 4 damage. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a few cards that go off of to chosen damaged character. So, like, doing extra damage to chosen damage character, banish chosen damage character, pack tactics, stampede, beast. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could go with it. So that could really help.
Yeah.
That's interesting. 38.
38. Bruno Madrigal, Out of the Shadows. He's a 5-cost uninkable, 4 strength, 5 willpower, quest for 1. That says when you play this character, chosen character gains. When this character is banished in a challenge, you may return this card to your hand this turn. And he is rare. This is kind of a hard text. Basically, you can give a character in play that when it is banished in a challenge, you can return it to your hand for this turn.
Great to throw on rush or your attackers, any attackers.
Yeah, you can drop it and play it on any attacker. 5-cost uninkable seems really expensive for a 4/5 and 1 lore that does that. I say that 4 strength is a good spot to be. 5 toughness is pretty nice. I definitely think this could be really good with some of the. Obviously, we have in Amethyst all the bounce mechanics. This is just another way to do that, and instead of having to, you can actually challenge your goat into something that's going to kill it and bounce, still get it back to your hand to play again. That seems really. It seems really good in Amethyst, right? It plays right into the Amethyst theme. Yeah, I think it's a pretty strong effect. I was a little questioning the 5-cost uninkable side of it, with it being uninkable, but really I think that probably is appropriately balanced there.
For his stat line, and the effect could get pretty crazy. I mean, you do that to like a Maui or a Madam Mim Fox. They're already on the field. You rush them in, or you hit them into something. They go back to your hand automatically. Play it again. Rush. Get 2 attacks, basically.
Bounce something, play Madam Mim Fox, rush it into something. Or I'm sorry. Play Madam Mim, bounce something to your hand. Play Bruno to bounce her to your hand when she gets banished. Slam her into something, play her again, and bounce Bruno back to your hand.
Yeah.
As long as you have infinite ink, combo. It's nuts.
Well, yeah. That would be. I meant Madam Mim's probably already on the field. Start that combo, but still
crazy.
Sick. Could be very interesting. Yeah, that could be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
39. Another Bruno Madrigal. Undetected Uncle. He costs 4. He's inkable. 3 strength, 3 willpower. He's evasive. You just have to see it. Exert. Name a card, then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the named card, put that card into your hand and gain 3 lore. Wow. Otherwise, put it on the top of your deck. He quests for 1, and he is super rare. Madrigal? Well, no. Broom deck would be crazy.
So this is... I think this does play into the Madrigal deck. There was the Italian card that we had last in the Amber set that did the... that allowed you to put a Madrigal card on top of your deck. You could then exert Bruno to say the card that's on the top of your deck that you literally just put there, immediately get it to your hand and gain 3 lore.
That's true.
So I think it definitely plays into Madrigal. Evasive cards or evasive characters, seem to be pretty valuable. At least I know it seemed for me in the set championship that evasive was still a nuisance.
Yes.
And here's another evasive card. So I think this could be pretty good in a lot of decks. It's definitely not going in every deck, but there are enough mechanics that allow you to see, look at some cards, put some on top and some on bottom, or look at 2 cards, put one on top, one on bottom, that you can set this up for yourself with some decent consistency to get an extra card draw and gain some extra lore. That if you have enough of those mechanics, this is going to be busted.
Yeah. 3 lore's a lot.
Yeah, on a 4 cost.
That's
that has
crazy.
A bit of that's evasive, hard to deal with. Yeah, you have to pull it off to get the 3 lore.
Yeah,
but
you have to know what's
if
next.
You've got the combos, then yeah, crazy.
That's pretty dope. Number 40.
Number 40, Camilo Madrigal, Prankster. I have no idea how to pronounce her name. Hopefully that was close. She's a 4-cost inkable that has 2 strength, 5 willpower, and has the quest for 1, and says mini forms. At the start of your turn, you may choose one. Either this character gets +1 lore this turn, or this character gains Challenger 2 this turn. And they are uncommon.
Interesting.
I think these can be some really strong mechanics, because one turn you might want to have the extra lore, then they play something you want to punch, and you just say, okay, now it's Challenger +2, and I'm going to punch you in the face.
4/5 is very punchable.
And 4/5 is really fun to swing with. This seems pretty good. I hate to say, every card seems really good, but I like the flexibility of this card. I think it does the flexibility that it gives you. Really, I think probably makes this pretty strong. Punching into, on defense, having a 2/5 that's getting hit isn't all that great. There's a lot of things that are, can trade favorably into that. But the flexibility can still be really good.
Yeah, I like that a lot. 41. Dolores Madrigal, easy listener. She cost 4. She's inkable. 3 strength, 3 willpower. Magical informant. When you play this character, if an opponent has an exerted character in play, you may draw a card. Quest for 2, and she is common. Damn. That's almost a guaranteed draw every time you play her. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
If not, wait a turn.
Yeah, as long as your opponent has a character in play, yeah. I'm starting to kind of question the 3/3 stat line for it, but with 2 lore, even that still doesn't feel like all that bad of value. It's not great, but being able to draw a card, having card advantage is really strong. So
if she lives 1 turn, that's 2 lore and a card for 4 ink. That's not bad. These last 2, I could definitely see going in decks other than just Madrigal decks.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. 42.
Yeah. 42. Elsa Stormchaser. 3-cost uninkable. 1 strength with 4 willpower. Can quest for 1 and says exert. Chosen character gains Challenger +2 and rush this turn. And it is rare. I think for me, this is too situational. 3 cost uninkable. The fact that the only thing you can do with it, right, is play it or discard it. And if you like 1/4 with 1 lore is frankly, in my opinion, not good for 3 lore or for 3 ink. I'm sorry.
No.
So you need to be getting value off of the exert for Challenger 2 and Rush. If you're not getting value off that, this card is just a dud. If you can get value off of it, great, but I don't think this is gonna make many of my decks.
No, for sure no. Commenting on the art though, I really like. I've just been noticing this. A lot of the cards, other than the Madrigals, because they don't, but like these are all like. It looks like they're all like fighting Ursula.
Yeah, we don't often talk about the flavor text, but I did just notice that after Elsa dispersed Ursula's storm, Anna was nowhere to be found. Is the flavor text?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't often pay attention to the flavor text, but this is the first one that I've noticed where it's directly referencing, 2 characters from 2 different universes.
The Belle that we went to earlier, she was like healing Beast, and he had like the purple seaweed on his paw.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting. I don't remember seeing all that in Amber too much, but
yeah, I wasn't looking for it either.
I wasn't looking for it. Now I will.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yep.
So not a great card, cool art. 43. A new Flotsam, Ursula's baby. 3 ink to play, uninkable. 4 strength, 2 willpower. Quest for 1, he's uncommon. When this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. Your character's name Jetsam gain. When this character is banished in a challenge, return this card to your hand. I've seen a lot of people talking about Flotsam and Jetsam decks. This is probably going to make it viable. I mean, what do we have with? This will be the 3rd pair of them, right? I think
so. Yeah. Yeah, it's 4. So the 4/2 stat line without when this character is banished, return it to your hand is banished in a challenge. Return it to your hand. Is pretty meh. It's good for punching into locations, but you're gonna die to like even even a 1-drop Stitch is gonna kill this. But the fact that when it's banished in a challenge, it comes back to your hand makes it still viable, right? So, I don't know what the new Jetsam is, but I do think that it's still a decent card anyway. With the locations at 3 cost, this has value, especially depending on what the other Jetsam does, and those, when you start comboing those 2 characters together, can get pretty crazy.
So this is the 3rd pair. The old Flotsam, Jetsam gains Rush. Oh no, that is a Flotsam. There we go. Flotsam gain Evasive, and Flotsam gain Ward. They're the 2 old ones. You get a couple of those on the board, and they could be pretty obnoxious to deal with.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
1 pair is green, which is worth mentioning. But
yes, set 3. Yeah, set 3. There was no set 2.
Yeah. Interesting.
44.
44. Flotsam and Jetsam. Entangling Eels. This is the duo. 6 ink. It is inkable. 5 strength and 5 willpower. Quest for 2. And has shift. Discard 2 cards. and then you may play this card on top of one of your characters named Jetsam or Flotsam. So it can go on either one. And then this character counts as being named both Flotsam and Jetsam. I think this could go into a Flotsam Jetsam deck if that becomes viable, because since this character counts as both, being named to both, all the other Flotsams and Jetsams both feed into this card. So all of a sudden, this card becomes really, 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 really strong.
And he's beefy already.
and at a 5/5, he's already pretty strong. The other buffs are Challenger 2, when this card is banished in a challenge, return it to your hand, Rush, Evasive, Ward, and +3 attack. So, I mean, even just having 2 other cards on the board, 2 other Flotsam or Jetsams, this gets really strong really fast. Obviously, the more you have, the better. The shift cost seems really expensive. The cheapest Flotsam Jetsam at the moment is a 3 cost. So you're going to be putting this on top of a 3 cost card, plus discarding 2 cards to shift it in. I'm sure there could be times that it's worth doing that, where you've got some good, if you've got the Flotsam that gives +3 attack and a Challenger, and there's something that you really need to deal with, and you need to do 10 damage to it, you can.
Yeah.
So like that might be a time where, okay, I'm willing to discard 2 cards because I really need to punch this location off the board or something. So I need a dry character to do that, and I'll shift it in. But otherwise, I think you're just gonna probably hard cast this. And it's only going in those decks. I don't think it has enough value otherwise.
Yeah, agreed on that. Another thing on the art, the previous Flotsam and these both have like the I don't even know what you'd call them, the Ursula like blisters on them, which is interesting. So more art going towards the Ursula thing, because none of the other cards have those blisters on them, which is very interesting. Yeah, that card's gonna be really sick if you build a Flotsam and Jetsam deck. Other than that, kind of useless. 45. Isabella Madrigal, Golden Child. She cost 5. She's inkable. 3 strength, 4 willpower. She's evasive, more evasive. Ladies first. During a turn, if no other character has quested this turn, this character gets +3. Jesus. +3 lore. She already quests for 1. And she's a rare. Leave it to me. Whenever this character quests, your other characters can't quest for the rest of this turn. Oh, I guess I should read the whole thing, huh?
No.
Because that first line's sick, and then the second line's...
Yeah, really kind of tampers it. I think it's an interesting balancing mechanic. So 3/4 evasive, 4 toughness on evasive that's pretty big. I was just thinking that this would actually work with Lucky Dime, so you could like Lucky Dime her for 4 lore.
Oh yeah.
And then she could, and that still doesn't count as her questing. So you could Lucky Dime her for 4, and then whoever else can quest all you want, and then she can quest for 1. I think it's kind of interesting. On your turn, you always have to make that mental decision of do you quest, do you punch, type of thing, and this is a kind of helps make that decision for you if you want to punch. Like, I really need to deal with this on the board, but I could quest for 1, or she can just quest for 4, and I can punch around with my other 2 characters.
That's kind of my thought, is load up your field with, reckless and rush characters. Let her do all the questing and let everybody else do all the punching. I mean, that's...
Yeah. It seems like in a lot of my games in the last couple of weeks, I've gotten in a couple kind of like stalemates where neither one of us really wanted to attack because it would open us up too much for or attack or quest, because I didn't want to quest because he would just punch into me and it would be all unfavorable trades, and he was in the same position where my opponent didn't want to quest because if he did, I would just punch into him, and I think we got to the point where I ended up winning the game because I had 14 lore of characters on the board already. So that is I don't feel like this plays into that mode very well. But the fact that she's evasive is actually can be really strong, because I don't think either one of us were running any evasives. So if we'd had evasives, we could have just been questing away and getting 4 lore a turn instead of waiting till we had 14 lore on the board.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So it was I with the evasive, I think it's pretty. It's actually, I think it will be good.
I can see it getting used for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I am interested to see how all the Madrigal cards play together. I'm wondering. I often felt like they don't put enough of one type in one set to do it. So, in the first deck they did some villain stuff, but there wasn't really enough stuff to do a villain deck in the first chapter. And it really wasn't until Inklands that there was enough villains to do that. Some of the Madrigal cards with the Madrigal effects, there may be enough value already to make a Madrigal deck. I don't know. That'll be interesting. Be interesting to see what everybody comes up with.
For sure. 46.
Jetsam, Ursula's baby. He's a 3-cost inkable with 2 strength and 4 willpower, and has Challenger +2, and your character's named Flotsam gain Challenger +2. He quests for 1, and he's a common. Like all the Flotsam and Jetsams, good with Flotsam and Jetsam deck. Otherwise, he's not really strong enough, in my opinion. I mean, 3 cost for 2/4 isn't horrible. It's just not strong enough, I don't think, to make a deck that's not the Flotsam Jetsam deck.
Yeah, you punch once and you might live, and then you're guaranteed to get hit back. So
yeah, you're gonna get hit back, and it's probably gonna be in their favor for the return because you've only got 2 attack.
Yep.
So.
Yep, same thing with all the Flotsam and Jetsam.
Pretty much.
Good for that deck.
Yep.
47. We got Louisa Madrigal, magically strong one. She's 4 ink, uninkable, 4 strength, 3 willpower. She has rush. She quests for 1, and she is a common. That's definitely not worth it to me. Being uninkable and rush, I'll pay 1 more for a Maui. I guess if I'm playing a red deck, but
yeah,
or I'll pay and bounce Madam Mim if I'm not playing red.
Yeah, I don't think this is probably going to get much play, largely to what you're speaking of. There are enough other rush cards between Madam Mim Fox and Maui's, and now obviously Maui's red, but Madam Mim Fox isn't, and I mean the trade-off is you have to bounce one of your characters, but often you can find a way to make that beneficial, where you can use it to effectively heal a character, or you can find a target to bounce that doesn't hurt too much, doesn't feel that bad. 4-cost uninkable, kind of too much of a one-trick pony this card is. I don't like it.
Another comment on the art. There's something swirling in the water, which I'm assuming is something to do with Ursula. Interesting. Actually, I'm going back and looking at some of the other cards, and there's actually quite a few of the Madrigals that have Ursula art in them too. The purples, at least. Bruno's and Camillo and Dolores. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. 48.
Magic Broom, Illuminary Keeper. He's a 1-cost inkable that has 1 strength and 2 willpower. Quest for 1. It's obviously a magic broom. It says whenever you play another character, you may banish this character to draw a card. And it's a common.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's kind of like the Chernobog's Followers, but Chernobog's Followers was quest and then banish this character to draw a card. Chernobog's Followers was a 2-1 instead of a 1-2. Personally, I feel like 2-1 is a significantly better stat line than 1-2. Because if you happen to quest with this character and it's so easy to not die to a 1-attack character, right? Whereas, if you have Chernobog's Followers that for some reason you quested and didn't banish, it's a little bit more difficult usually for your opponent to punch it off the board to keep you from drawing a card.
Especially super early game.
Yeah. If it's not super early game, I don't think you're trying to greed out that extra 1 lore. I think you're probably just going to quest it and banish it right away. Yep. I think this is very. You might put this in a broom deck. I don't think you're putting it in anything else. I think if in this place you would just put a Chernobog's Followers if that's what you're trying to do with it.
Unless you're just trying to draw like crazy, put them both in. But that.
Maybe in an aggro deck, then, like, I guess maybe, if you're trying to keep all your cards, if you're playing like the Rockstar Stitch crazy silly combos decks, then maybe, because it's just a way for you to draw an extra card. But I don't think so. Generally, I don't think so.
49. Another magic broom, Lively Sweeper. Cost 3, inkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 1, common. It's a vanilla broom.
Vanilla
which is
broom.
Interesting because I think all of them had effects except for this one.
Didn't think so. Maybe. I don't remember. Let's see.
Yes, all of them have some kind of effect except for this one.
Oh, yep.
Huh.
What a loser.
Yeah.
Not very lively.
Next. 50.
50.
Hey, it dances. Okay.
50. Magical Maid. Feather Duster is a 2-cost inkable 2/2 that quests for 2. It's uncommon. Okay.
Is this like a
aggro deck maybe? Okay. But otherwise garbage.
Is this like all females are chickens and all roosters are hens? All females are dusters and all males are brooms?
I'm not gonna get into that conversation. The Magical Maid is not a broom card, so it doesn't matter. Does not have the same effects.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
2 drop, 2 lore, 2/2. That's not bad.
It's not bad. I don't think I can think of a lot of other 2 drops I'd rather have than this though. I don't think that 2/2 is that much better than a 1/1
with 1 extra lore.
Yeah. So
fair enough.
This is basically a Stitch, but you're paying 1 more to have 1 more lore. I don't think that's enough value.
Yeah. 51. We got our second Marshmallow. It only took 3 more sets. Terrifying Snowman. He's a 3-drop. Uninkable. 0 strength. 3 willpower. He quests for 1. He's uncommon. This character gets +1 attack for each card in your hand. If you drop that on turn 3, what are we looking at? 5 attack, roughly?
No.
No.
Not no. Because you're going to have 7 cards in hand, draw 1 for turn 1. As long as you're inking every turn and trying to play a card every turn, you're going to be down to 2 or 3 cards in your hand. Maybe 4.
I guess in a draw deck, this would be pretty powerful.
It's only going to work, like only going to be valuable in a really draw heavy deck. And with the meta right now being so discard heavy, I don't think that this is going to be good enough.
Yeah, discard decks, this is awful. And there's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, you can't ink
except for play it.
Yeah. So, well, you can discard it against a discard deck, I guess, but
yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
I guess that'd be an easy throwaway at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be all that great.
Yeah.
52.
Mrs. Potts, Enchanted Teapot. It is a 4-cost inkable, 3 strength and 4 willpower. She quests for 2. Says when you play this character, if you have a character named Lumiere or Cogsworth in play, you may draw a card, and is rare. 4-cost 3/4 with 2 lore isn't bad. If you can pull off the draw card, it's always good. I don't know how many Lumieres. I only remember 1 Lumiere. Is there a new one? There is one new one. So there's only 2 Lumieres. There's more Cogsworth. One of the Lumieres is a super late game 7-cost 7/7. That I don't think has enough value. The Cogsworth I know do have pretty good value. So this is probably going to go into that deck if it goes anywhere.
Purple blue's not the most popular matchup though.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like in 3/4 is just not a great stat line. It's not bad, but for 4 cost, 2 lore, it all just feels very mundane.
I could find something else to fill that slot.
And the payoff is draw a card.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes you get to draw a card. Yeah, I don't think so.
Not a fan.
Maybe, 53. But I don't think so.
Peppa Madrigal, Weathermaker. She's an uninkable 5. 1 strength, 5 willpower. She quests for 1. She's rare. It looks like rain. When you play this character, you may exert chosen opposing character. That character can't ready at the start of their next turn unless they're at a location. Ooh. So don't choose that character. Well, I guess you could still exert it and kill it. But interesting. That's still a no from me. Stat line's bad. Uninkable. Only quest for 1. There are other characters that do more and can exert a character. So
yeah, being able to exert an opposing character is pretty valuable, but I think the cost is way too high.
Yeah. Not a big fan of that one at all. 54.
Yeah. 54. Peter Pan Shadowfinder. He's a 3-cost uninkable with 2 strength and 3 willpower, who has rush and evasive, quest for 1, and then says your other characters with evasive gain rush, and he is a super rare. It's interesting. I don't think this is very good, in my opinion. Most of the cards that have evasive, their trade-off is a weak stat line, so being able to rush with them isn't that valuable. A 2/3 uninkable for 3 that only quests for 1 isn't that, in my opinion, isn't that valuable. Yeah. There are obviously times that you would like it, but generally speaking, I think, I'm not wanting to use my evasive characters to punch things off the board, and I don't think he's got the value.
Yep, I agree with that. I mean, there are a couple evasive characters with decent. They're few and far between, though. So that is a very situational card, and it's uninkable, and I don't think I would play it that often. Unless you're just building a Peter Pan deck. It's not it.
Team heavy deck, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you're just playing it because it fits a theme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 55. Pico, Helpful Toucan. 2 cost, Inkable. 3 strength. 2 willpower. 1 lore. It's common. Another vanilla card. That's early game punch. Could be okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe in an aggro deck where you don't have very many punters and you just need something just in case. But that's...
My mind, he's a fill card. They exist. They have a place in the game. Sometimes you just need a 2-drop. Getting in 3 attack isn't the worst trade-off.
Yeah.
It's a fill card, though.
Yep. 56.
56. Tick-Tock, Ever-Present Pursuer. He is a 6-cost Inkable with 4 strength and 7 willpower, quest for 1, and is evasive. Common. Everything I said about Peter... Everything I was gonna say, everything I said about Peter Pan was a lie. That's a pretty big stat line for an evasive character. The 4 attack dodges all of those removals we were talking about earlier with Madame Medusa and World's Greatest Criminal Mastermind. 7 willpower is a lot. It's interesting. You get to pick, so at 6 cost, and you basically get to pick all of your hits. So, with it being evasive. So 6 cost for only 4 attack can still be really good because you get to pick all of your trades and pick all of your fights. It's unlikely that you're going to get swung back into. Even if you do, it's still
going to hit somebody twice at least.
Yeah, and even still, even if they do, it's still they're swinging into a 4 attack, which isn't bad. That's a pretty decent, pretty okay stat line. Kind of expensive, but not. I think this probably could get some decent play, actually. Most of the evasives that I've seen are the ones that are questing for 2 or more, right? It's just people wanting to build up lore more quickly. It's kind of aggressive, and that's the challenge. This is
off the field.
Yeah, this is the first evasive that I've seen that is a obvious boxer, right? And they get out there and you're wanting to deal with it just because it's going to continue to punch your stuff. That'll be interesting.
That's a straight tease. I'm going to punch you and you can't punch me back.
Yeah. Because if your opponent has this on the board every time you play something, or you're going to not want to exert it because you just see the Tick-Tock's going to swing into it and you don't have a way to remove the Tick-Tock, that's really going to feel bad.
Yeah.
And in those situations, cool. I want to have Tick-Tock. So I don't know.
I like that. I like it a lot.
I don't see exactly what, if I'm thinking about the couple decks I've had that have purple, I don't know what I would pull out to put him in, but it's one of those I would experiment with. I'd want to see if I could find something to put in because I think there's probably something out there that makes it valuable enough to do it.
Yeah. 57. We got Ursula, Mad Sea Witch. She costs 2. She's inkable. 1 strength, 3 willpower. Challenger +2. She quests for 1, and she is uncommon. Oh, after her Flotsam, I can't rule Lorcana without the Hexwell crown. Wait, who has the Hexwell crown? That's a green.
What's a Hexwell crown?
I don't know.
I'm not much of a lore guy, so
yeah, that crown. But I don't know who the green tentacle would be. That's what's confusing me.
I assumed that was her foot. I don't know.
Like black and
1-3 Challenger 2. I think for myself, I would rather have a 1-2 for 1 cost with Challenger 2, i.e. Captain Hook.
Yep.
Pretty meh for me.
Let me see. Is there anything else in purple?
Well, in purple, I'd rather have a Rafiki, right?
Oh, yeah.
Challenger 3, it's a 2 toughness. That's even better, right? I don't know, or for than this, in my opinion. The 1 extra willpower is
for the
pretty
cost.
meh to me. Yeah. Although I guess maybe you could use this, and then it's still strong enough that you could Teeth and Ambitions this as a target, and then still swing for 3. But
it's fair.
I don't know. With it being a 2 cost, I just feel it's a little bit too expensive.
I'd agree with that. I was just curious what else is out there. 58.
58. Ursula, Sea Witch Queen. 7 cost inkable with 4 attack and 7 willpower. She's shift 5 and quest for 3. And says, whenever this character quest, exert chosen character, and other characters can't exert to sing songs. Oh boy. Being able to shift this in is pretty strong.
Yes.
I think it's interesting whenever this character quest, exert chosen character, is not optional, but I'm assuming that you could just like choose her, so then it can't like double exert. So I assume that's not really a downside, but it is not a May ability. Other characters can exert to sing songs is interesting, but that still means that she can exert to sing a song that's 7 cost or less. 4/7's that big stat line, dodges, Medusas, and World's Greatest Criminal Mastermind. 7's a big booty. I like it. Being able to shift it in. I think like most legendaries, it's strong. Whether it's the strongest legendary is yet to be seen. I haven't seen them all yet, but it seems pretty decent. Questing for 3 is nice, and I don't think you're going to swing with her very much because you'll probably just rather quest for 3. But she's still hard to remove because there's not too much that's going to be swinging for back at 7, so you're probably going to have to, your opponent's going to have to challenge with 2 different characters or the same character over 2 turns to take her out.
I was trying to see if they had a ruling for exert chosen character, but I don't see anything yet. I'll have to keep my eye on that to see exactly how that works, but that could get really interesting if you accidentally mess yourself up and you can't choose her.
Yeah, if you can't choose her, or if you... Yeah. I can't imagine that, because it doesn't say whenever this character exert chosen ready character.
Or chosen other character either. Yeah.
So I imagine that you can either target her since she's exerted and it has no effect, but if that ruling is out there that's not how that works, this could get I could see myself screwing that up and really being frustrated at a store championship.
100%. Jeez, I don't know. That's really cool. That's great artwork. I like it a lot. And she is enchanted. P.S. She has the crown in that picture, so their timeline's all out of whack. Enchanted, looks sick. There's basically a black background. It's more like a gray, but still pretty
featureless.
But there's enough in the foreground on this one to take up most of the cards, so I like this one a lot better.
Well, that's good since it's called Ursula's Return. The whole set is named after Ursula. It'd be really disappointing if this was a bad artwork.
Boring enchanted. That would suck. Next card we got Yen Sid. Powerful sorcerer. 2 cost, inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower. He is legendary in a quest for 1. Timely intervention. When you play this character, if you have a character named Magic Broom in play, you may draw a card. Okay, this is going Broom deck. Arcane Study. While you have 2 or more Broom characters in play, this character gets +2 lore. Daniel is going to have a heyday with this. That's pretty crazy. And 2, she's in a Broom deck. You play this, you have 3 lore for 2 ink. Easily killable, but oof.
I mean, obviously this will go into Broom decks, but I don't think it actually feels that powerful considering some of the other Broom cards, like Broom stacking mechanics. Thinking of like the location that gives all your Brooms +1 lore or whatever. I don't know. I just played into that deck for the first time.
Anything at that location gets +1 lore.
So it's not even Broom specific. So nope. I don't know.
Brooms can move there for free.
Oh, okay.
That's all that is.
So I think this is kind of mundane because you're not going to have 2 Brooms in play on turn 2. So you're not going to get like the bonus lore for a while. Frankly, I don't think there are any Brooms yet that are that cheap. There is one that we just covered in this just like 5 minutes ago that I've already forgotten about. But I'm sure it was more than 5 minutes. But there's only one cost. So I mean, if you had that Broom out, then you could play this on turn 2 and draw an extra card. Maybe on turn 3 you play a Broom and you quest with this guy for 3 on turn 3. That'd feel pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think it's. I mean, it goes into a Broom deck, goes into nothing else, and yeah, I don't even know that this is going to be my primary target in a Broom deck if I'm playing against a Broom deck.
I can't believe there's not a bodyguard Broom yet. That's crazy. Yeah, bodyguard Brooms. That would be sick to play just to protect this guy.
Yeah.
But that's not a thing. Yeah, 2 legendaries right in a row and 2 enchanteds right in a row.
Pretty butterfly.
God, he has really creepy eyes in this. Hey, and it's not just a black background. Look at that. There's like stuff.
It's paint splatter.
Yeah. They spilled their ink on it. Oops. Yep. That's interesting. That's also interesting. Typically, they don't use 2 legendaries for enchanteds per color per set.
Yeah.
It's usually like a legendary, super rare. Interesting. Next card.
Poor Unfortunate Souls is our first song/action. It is a 2-cost inkable that says return chosen character, item, or location with cost 2 or less to their player's hand. It's a very flexible bounce. With some of the locations that we've seen, this could be kind of nice, right? Because especially if your opponent has moved a couple characters there, you can bounce it, which effectively moves them all back to nothing. So when they replay it, they have to move them again. You could use this to bounce your own character or location with damage on it to your hand to heal it back up, or get its enter the battle, interplay when you play this character effect back. It's a common. It's okay. I think you could run 1 or 2 of these, and it wouldn't feel too bad when it worked. If it didn't have a use for it, you can probably ink it. It's okay.
It is a purple befuddle
for 1 more.
For 1 more cost
and more flexibility, right?
Location.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, befuddle's blue, so if you're not running purple blue, you can obviously run this instead. Just cost you 1 more ink. But
I think adding that location can be
for sure.
can be pretty big, because your opponent could have spent, played a location for 2 ink and then spent 2 or 3 ink moving characters there. So when you bounce it,
sure.
you're effectively resetting 5 or 6 ink worth of ink for your opponent. So I think that's, by adding
even just in the first
a lot better.
couple turns. The first couple turns, if they're just dropping 1 cost locations and just stacking. I mean, this will get one of them off at least.
Yeah.
For 1 turn. That's pretty cool. 61, second star to the right. It costs 10. It is uninkable. Sing together 10. I think that's the highest number we've seen so far. Any number of your or your teammates' characters with total cost of 10 or more may exert to sing this song for free. Chosen player draws 5 cards, and it's rare. That's cool-ish. The fact that it's uninkable really sucks. That's such an expensive card with huge cost already. And not letting it be inkable really hurts.
What do you mean? You can play it for free.
Do what?
So what do you mean? You can play it for free.
You can play it for free, but then you're wasting a turn with quite a few characters. 5 cards is awesome. 10 cards is awesome if you sing it with Ursula.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the problem with Whole New World is that you refill your opponent's hand as well, right? I've been multiple times where, I mean, it has cost me where, I emptied my hand and cast a Whole New World, played a few cards, passed my turn to my opponent, and they dumped their whole hand on the board, and I ended up losing the game.
Yeah.
This obviously gets around that, but it costs twice as much.
And draw 2 less cards.
And you draw 2 less cards. But on the bright side, you don't have to wait until your hand is empty to cast it, right? So you could just cast it whenever you get an opportunity, rather than trying to make that sacrifice. So I want to discard these last 2 or 3 cards in my hand. I don't know. I think that I need to pay more attention to what is the total cost of characters on the board when I'm not playing my Steel Song deck. When I'm playing my Steel Song deck, I'm thinking about singing songs a lot more often. Yeah. Or even when I'm playing my green deck, which is green purple, but I'm not looking at 10 cost, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna have to start trying to pay attention to how many opportunities could I sing this card before I want to put it in a deck. Because but I do not want to pay 10 ink to do this. I don't think. I think you're going to want to sing this out.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Maybe this is
ink to draw 5 cards.
Maybe this is the start of a purple-blue ramp, and this goes in the purple-blue ramp deck. And you are just flat out paying 10 ink for it. I don't know.
I can see it, I guess.
But
good luck playing any of those 5 cards after paying for it, though.
Yeah. But if you got a Tamatoa, you only need a Tamatoa and a Grand Latala, and you're out. You're ready to go. Sing it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's strong. I don't think it's very strong, but that could be a sleeper.
Yeah. It's also enchanted. Black background with some stars. That's kind of cool.
It's 2 stars, so there could be a second one to the right.
Okay. Now that you mentioned that, I was seeing it. There was a stars in the first one. There was. That's kind of cool.
Yep.
Okay. Number 62.
62. Swing into action. 1 cost inkable. Chosen character gains rush this turn. Common. Trash. It's not. I mean, it's just too situational.
I'd take that over Peter Pan.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. The Peter Pan one with the TikTok all of a sudden seems maybe like it's not super horrible. But, eh.
Yeah. 63. Ursula's plan. Oh. She has green tentacles, and it's another Ursula?
Her sister? Her evil twin?
I don't know. 3 ink. Uninkable. Each opponent chooses and exerts one of their characters. Those characters can't ready at the start of their next turn. Uncommon. They get to choose. Interesting.
Sure glad I made those can't ready tokens.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be useful.
Yep.
Then I could see being 3. There are characters that can do that I'd rather have than this. Uninkable.
Yeah, I think if this was a song, I'd be more inclined to do it. Or maybe even if maybe like a 4-cost item that you can use that ability, like use this as an ability for 2 ink or something. Like every turn you could pay 2 ink to do it. Although that'd probably be more expensive than that. Probably 5 or 6 ink to play the card. But
that'd be broken.
If it were a song, I think I'd be more inclined to run it. Again, I think it's just too situational to be uninkable.
Yeah, agreed. 64.
64, that's a lot of words. Magical Rose. 2-cost inkable.
Hang on. You want to retry that first word?
Mystical Rose. Yeah, that one. Like I said, I was so overwhelmed with how many words there were, I couldn't even get the first word out. It's Mystical Rose. It's our first item. It's a 2-cost inkable that says, banish this item. Chosen character named Beast gets +2 lore this turn. If you have a character named Belle in play, move up to 3 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. And it is rare.
Interesting.
I think this is pretty good. If you have enough Belle and Beasts in your deck, this could be pretty strong. Only a 2-cost, means early on in the game you can get this down on the board, and it's, if you don't have another turn 2 play, sure, this isn't a bad one. You get a Beast on the board later, you get a bonus 2 quest. If you have like the green Beast, all of a sudden he's questing for +2, and you can maybe ready him a time or two. That gets
that
really
was my
crazy.
First thought.
The Bell with if you have a Bell in play, being able to heal characters is just kind of a bonus in my mind. For that, I think this is surprisingly good. Again, obviously you have to have enough Bell and Beast in the deck to make it good. It's not good on its own, but
yep.
Yeah.
This is similar to the lamp. It's 2-cost. It affects Jafar and Genie. But this one's inkable, which makes it way better. This is awesome. And yeah, my mind immediately went to Green Beast, and because I love to play him.
Yeah.
And now I'm gotta make a purple-green deck that works with that.
You would. Yep.
We'll see. 65. Rose Lantern, another item. 2-cost, inkable again. Exert, pay 2 ink. Move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. This makes 0 sense to me after the last card.
That's repeatable. Do this every turn.
Oh, it's true. The last one was banish this item. You're right.
Yeah, so for 2 ink, you get to just heal a character every turn. Or ping a character for every turn. As long as you have a character that's damaged, right? So it's not doing damage, it's only moving damage.
Right.
I like it. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, after knowing that you had to banish the last item, this could be useful.
Yeah, it's not going to be a 4 of or anything crazy like that,
no.
but Since it's inkable, this could end up making it into your deck for playing against some aggro decks. If you need to, maybe you ink it every time if you're not playing an aggro deck, but you get into an aggro deck, being able to punch a cheap little character and then use this to move a damage from your character to one of their other characters to kill it. I could see that being
like a double attack. That's
kind of a situational add. Sideboard card if they ever add that mechanic. Otherwise, it's just in the deck for those matchups.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
66.
66. Triton's Trident. It's an item. 2-cost, inkable. Says, banish this item. Chosen character gets +1 attack this turn for each card in your hand, and it is uncommon. Man, I would like to like this card. I just don't.
The banish this item kills all items for me.
Well, so like where I'm picturing that this so anytime I look at a card like this, I'm always trying to think, when could this be good? So, if we just played the second star to the right and I've got to draw 5 cards, now I can banish it and I'm going to be swinging. I can give a character like +6 or 7 this turn. That's pretty cool. If I've got it in a purple steel deck, I could hold New World, throw 7 cards in my hand, then banish this, give a character +7 attack. Like, those are the couple like situations that I could think that could make this good. But man, in order to make this consistent, your deck has to have so much draw in it that I don't think if you have enough draw to make this consistent, your deck is no longer good. So
this could help overcome like things like resist though. Like if you throw a Maui down and you're trying to punch a Cinderella Stouthearted or something like that. I mean, this could get you over the top to actually kill it.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, even if you only gave it +2 or 3, maybe that's all that you need. You don't need to hit this big bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe it is a little stronger than I'm initially giving it credit for. I
just hate when items aren't reusable. That's what kills it for me.
Yeah.
Just let me use it a few times. Don't make me banish it when I want to use it once.
Yeah, they don't have anything yet where like items have durability. I imagine that will come at some point where you can like put a token on it and at 3 tokens banish the card or something. Yeah. I imagine that's coming at some point, but
art note here, that is the most anime looking Lorcana card I've seen yet. That's just interesting artwork. I like it. It's cool. It's just not very Lorcana style, which is awesome. All right, number 67, we got Casa Madrigal. Casita. It is a location, obviously. Cost 1. It's inkable. Cost 1 to move. 6 health. Willpower. Our home. At the start of your turn, if you have a character here, gain 1 lore. Okay. I mean, there are other cards that cost 1 that have 6 willpower that cost 1 to move that gain you 1 lore automatically. So I don't really see the benefit of this, honestly. Are there any in purple? That's the real question.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm just double checking. There's not one with 6 health that gives you a lore. There's one with 4 health at 1 cost that gives you a lore, but not at 6 health. I don't think this is strong in my mind. I think, it's just not strong enough to me.
I would throw Forbidden Mountain in there. It costs 1 more, and it gains you a lore automatically. And has everything is the exact same except it costs 1 more lore. Gains you 1 more ink, gains you 1 lore automatically. I would take that over this any day. Even if you're playing a Madrigal deck. Still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Unless you're playing a theme deck, okay, and you do.
If you gain 2 lore for having a Madrigal, that'd be sure, but it doesn't even go that far.
I was thinking, you could do that, or I was initially thinking gain a lore for every character you have here, but mid and late game that would be busted.
Ooh,
play this,
playing an aggro deck with that
3 characters here, and then all of a sudden you lose. That I don't think is really going to work. But
yeah,
I think that'd be too strong, especially at 1 cost. It didn't have to end up costing more. I just don't. I don't know. I don't care for it.
Yeah, not a fan of that. 68.
68. Ursula's Lair, Eye of the Storm. 3 cost, uninkable. Cost 2 to move here, 6 willpower. Says, whenever a character is banished in a challenge while here, you may return them to your hand. And characters named Ursula get +1 lore while here. And it gets you 1 lore per turn and is rare. I think it's decent.
Better than Casa Madrigal.
Better than Casa Madrigal. I think that, the slippery halls, whenever a character is banished in a challenge while here, return them to your hand. That is obviously feels really good. That's pretty strong. But the fact that it's only got, quote unquote, only got 6 health, I think it's easy enough to punch the land out, like the location out from underneath the characters here.
Yep.
That it being an uninkable 3 really hurt. That doesn't make it quite strong enough. If there does end up being a purple-blue deck, this could make it into that, because you could put in the Vault Door, which gives it resist 1, and all of a sudden you only need 1 Vault Door, and this all of a sudden becomes quite a bit better. But situational, I don't know. I think generally not good enough. May make a few decks.
With Vault Door, though, then everything that's there gets +1 resist. So that also makes it harder to get banished in a challenge to go back to your hand.
Yeah.
A plus side, but I don't know. That's interesting. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'm not a fan of either of those locations. Other than that, purple was kind of a banger.
Purple had some pretty crazy locations in the last set.
That's true, yeah.
But otherwise, I think I mostly agree. Casa, I didn't care for. This one is situational at best. Like I said, if there ends up with a blue, I could see myself trying to put it in a blue-purple deck.
It could be good, yeah.
Because even the character banished in a challenge doesn't mean that somebody has to hit me. I can hit other stuff too, right? So I could punch above my class to tank some stuff if I wanted to get healed up or something. But yeah, purple was. Purple's been my favorite color since the game started. So
That's fair.
Not a surprise to me that there's a lot of cards in here I like.
So that's the last card of Amethyst. What is your guys' favorite card? What do you think is going to be the most played? I mean, probably Ursula, but what else? If you guys are enjoying our reviews, let us know. Any pointers, hints, anything we got wrong? Tell us we're idiots and fill us in. Other than that, we will see you guys in Emerald.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night.